Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Happy um, Thursday. It's August 3rd. Tomorrow's my birthday, actually, so I'm not going to be doing nothing. But happy Thursday. Good morning to everyone. As you can see, I've changed locations. I'm under some stairs now. But it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool place, actually. You got like an upstairs. You got another side. Anyways, hope everyone's doing well. Let's get this going. Markets finally taking a downturn. This is what we talked about yesterday, looking for some of that sell. And today we'll talk a little more about tech because we got some key events that are coming out after the bell. Last week, we have to reiterate that we saw some big tech giants post earnings, right? With accelerating growth at Google, Meta, focusing on AI. I think, what was it? A combined total of 150 times, give or take a few times, the CEOs said AI in that earnings call. Um, there were some worries about capex and Microsoft and expected revenues, and then today we have Apple and Amazon, which are going to come in after the closing bell. And investors and economists, realistically traders, everyone is going to be eyeing the figures from these two massive companies that have a global workforce in the millions. So consumer and business revenues in the billions, market caps that are in the trillions. So very, very large companies. Apple is already up 54% this year alone, and the firm's view on many of its business verticals will provide a broader economic picture. Service results like cloud, App Store, Apple Music, Apple Pay, blah, 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 will be closely monitored, as will the levels of iPhone shipments and price hikes of Pro models. So also listen to the press conference call for mentions of AI, naturally, a new VR headset, which was like, how much money was it? Something crazy. I can't even remember. What was it, like 3 grand or something? I don't know. But anyways, the status in the overseas market, like in India, and the potential impact of escalating semiconductor war between China and the U.S. In terms of Amazon, the e-commerce giant has similar year-to-date gains, with shares up about 50%. Since the beginning of this year. And keep in mind, we're on the 8th month of the year. The thing's up like crazy. Amazon is coming off its Prime Day in July, which is the single largest sales day in its history, while it pushes into pharmacy and grocery. So those pushes will be discussed most likely. However, the most important metrics will be the outlook for Amazon Web Services, the company's cloud computing platform, as well as whether strength in streaming and advertising will be offset by slowing consumer enterprise spending. So Amazon shares, they're fairly attractively valued and continue accumulation, though one can never know what the market will do approaching earnings. So we're going to see how those move, right? We've seen downside in equities over the last few days, especially tech, and these can provide a spike in tech if earnings are good. I think there's still a little more downside in tech to be had coming into a larger pullback before we get a buyable dip realistically. So, excuse me. We also had Fitch's downgrade of the US debt, right, which reflects puzzlement over its timing realistically, but indicates confidence that government securities and the dollar will remain safe haven. So we expect that after the initial negative reaction in the market, investor will largely disagree with the move and potentially see this as a dip buying opportunity. There's also a high chance that we see QE start ramping up again, right? That could explain why the market isn't taking the downgrade as bad as it did in 2011 when the S&P cut its ratings. And Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen also called the downgrade arbitrary, while JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon said it was ridiculous. We've also seen bonds. We got to talk about bonds because billionaire investor Bill Ackman is betting against the 30-year treasuries, calling it a hedge on the impact of higher, longer-term rates on stocks, as well as high probability standalone bet. There are many times in history where the bond market reprices the long end of the curve in a matter of weeks, and this seems to be one of those times. Ackman projected, also noted that if long-term inflation is 3% instead of 2%, the 30-year treasury yield could reach 5.5% soon. So Ackman is not alone, as hedge funds have been shorting treasuries in mass. I think that short and medium term, there could be a pop in treasuries, but I think a lot of those pops are going to get sold, and we're going to see a downside move in overall treasuries as yields look to be spiking. I think there's going to be a drop in yields before we do get a larger spike. In its new milestone, Apple's card, right, high yield savings account offered by Goldman Sachs has reached more than $10 billion in deposits. And the saving account offers Apple Card users an APY of 4.15%. And since the launch in April, 97% of savings customers chose to have their daily cash automatically deposited to the account. So Goldman Sachs won the Apple Card account in 2019 when it sought to build itself a consumer finance powerhouse, but has since scaled back its consumer business amid mounting losses. While Goldman Sachs also sees committed Apple Card for now, the bank has reportedly started talks with American Express to offload credit card deals. So pre-market here, we do have a little more downslide in the futures and the equity market. I want to just see what we got cooking here in terms of levels areas on the S&P 500. Preparing to buy the larger dip. I'm preparing to buy all dips, Mr. Rug Pull USA. Just the monkeying in like an idiot, getting long ETFs realistically. I'm not too big of a stock picker, sometimes here and there, but I think dip buying opportunities, right? I like the leverage ETF for swings as well. But looking at this market, on the S&P 500, looking at a different computer here. Sorry, I'm not looking at you guys in the eyes, but here's my plan for today. 1 second. So what happened, we accepted into the distribution block to the downside yesterday. We pushed under 45.55 realistically, which is a huge milestone. We finally pushed under that level. We got a decent little scale back, and we reoffered continuously, ending the session about into that low 30 area on the S&P 500 futures. Right now, we are pushing lower again, and in between 45.32 and 36, I think that's a top end where sellers are going to come in. If you want to be more aggressive between 45.25 and 45.28, we have a decent area where sellers are expected to come in with support at 45.10ish and 4500. I do expect, right, we're opening into the distribution leg lower. I do expect to see some downside to push us into that 4500 today at some point, and potentially into next week, we can see those 4400s or so. To the downside before I think into mid-August, end of August, there is a lot of dip buying that actually occurs into about mid-September based on cycles and seasonality. That is kind of what my expectations are. I think that tech has a little more room to drop, and those are going to be very interesting figures for me to look to buy into some of those dips. So that's all I got today. I hope everyone has an amazing day. I hope everyone has an amazing weekend. I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I'm going to be celebrating my 28th birthday. So I'm getting old as well, it seems. 28. So tomorrow's my birthday. So I'm not going to be around. I hope everyone has an amazing time, has an amazing weekend. And let me know. Drop some questions down below. Check us out at community.tradeproacademy.com. And check us out at TRADEPROacademy.com because we have a free futures course that I think everyone should at least take a gander at. It has a lot of insight and so on and so forth. I appreciate all of the birthday wishes. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm glad you're all here and watch me on a daily basis. I appreciate that. And thank you and take care. Have a great weekend. Appreciate it, everyone. And ciao, ciao.